there, listener. It's that time of year again, huh? Those twinkling lights, that smell of pine needles. You know, Christmas. We're doing a deep dive into Christmas today.
Oh, Christmas.
We all love the presents and carols, sure, but the story behind it, well, it's a lot older than you might think, and honestly, a lot wilder too.
It really is. The way it's changed over the centuries, picking up different meanings, traditions as it goes. Fascinating stuff.
It's like a big historical time capsule, right? All these layers, ancient rituals and religion, and just like what people did for fun.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's crack this time capsule open. Even before we get to the whole Jesus being born thing, there's the winter solstice. Huge deal for so many cultures way back when.
Yeah.
Ancient Rome, the Norse folks up north, all marking this shortest day. But what was the big deal about the solstice back then?
Well, imagine, right? No central heating, no electric lights. Sun starts going away. It's serious business.
Right, yeah. Getting cold, dark.
Solstice was when it started coming back in. Days getting longer again. Real relief, hope, all that.
Like a giant, we're not freezing to death party. And speaking of parties, the Romans, they really knew how to party, didn't they? Their Saturnalia festival. Sounds intense.
Oh, Saturnalia. That was a time to let loose, for sure.
I bet.
Week-long thing in December. Honoring Saturn, their god of agriculture, but basically, feasts, gifts, gambling. They even swapped roles.
What, like?
Slaves became the masters for a bit, turning everything upside down, poking fun at the usual rules.
Wow, a whole week of that. I bet that was popular.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't just the Romans having their solstice traditions, right?
Not at all. The Norse had Yule, their big one, all about fire and light, welcoming the sun back, keeping warm.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Big feasts, singing, and the Yule log, burning that huge log for good luck, warding off bad spirits.
So we got Roman partying and Norse bonfires.
Yeah.
Ancient folks really knew how to handle winter, huh? But then Christianity comes along and things start changing.
Big time. By the 4th century, Christianity's spreading. But they've got a challenge. All these pagan traditions, especially around the solstice, still going strong.
So a bit of a culture clash.
Yeah. And instead of saying, nope, no more fun, they do something interesting.
What'd they do?
They pick December 25th, pretty close to the solstice, and say, boom, that's Jesus's birthday. Official.
Clever.
Yeah. It's absorbing those solstice vibes, but giving him a new meaning.
Like a rebrand.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Jesus as the light of the world, tying into all that solstice stuff about light coming back, rebirth.
Exactly. It makes the shift easier, feels familiar to folks. Smart move.
So what happens after those early days? How does Christmas evolve from there?
Well, Christianity gets more settled in, but Christmas keeps changing too. Blending the pagans with the Christian.
Right.
Middle Ages, we start seeing Christmas, like we kind of recognize it. Church services get fancy, feasts get bigger, and then there's these plays.
Oh yeah, like telling the story of Jesus' birth.
Exactly.
So by the Middle Ages, it's like piety, Andy, partying, all mixed up.
Yeah, you got it. Picture this. You're in a huge cathedral, midnight mass, super serious. Then outside, it's towns and villages going wild. Music, people laughing, smells like roast meat and spiced wine everywhere.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh, it was. Big feasts, people singing carols back then. It was called wassailing, and those nativity plays I mentioned getting acted out.
Real communal event, huh? Everyone involved, rich and poor.
Pretty much. Obviously, rich folks did things fancier, but everyone celebrated in some way. Shared meals, gift-giving, coming together as a community, that was the point.
And that's something that sticks with Christmas, right? That
Yeah.
togetherness feeling. But there's one big piece missing from this picture so far.
Oh, yeah.
Santa Claus. He didn't just magically appear one day, right?
Santa's got a long history, too. It all starts with a real guy, St. Nicholas, 4th century bishop. Super generous, especially to kids. That's where it all begins.
The Santa starts as a bishop. That's not the image we have today. What was so special about this St. Nick?
He was known for his kindness, his compassion. Like, legend has it, he'd give gifts to people in need, especially children, but secretly. And his reputation for good deeds, it spread and spread.
Makes sense.
And over time, those St. Nicholas stories, they get mixed in with Christmas. He turns into Sinterklaas over in the Netherlands. And eventually, well, we get Santa Claus as we know him.
So from 4th century bishop to global gift giver, that's a heck of a journey. But I'm guessing there's more to the story, right? What happens as we move into those later centuries?
Oh, there's plenty more twists and turns to come. Yeah, Santa's story is just one part of this whole Christmas history thing. And as we get to the 16th, 17th centuries, things take a turn.
Oh, Like how?
Well, not everyone was loving the whole Christmas vibe, you know? Some folks, they actually wanted to cancel Christmas.
Wait, what? Cancel Christmas? Who'd want to do that?
This was Reformation time. Big shakeup in Europe, religion, society, all of it. And groups like the Puritans, they wanted Christianity to be simpler, stricter, no messing around. And they looked at Christmas with all the partying, the gifts, the mixing of pagan stuff with Christian. And they're like, nope, not cool. Too distracting from real faith, they thought.
So too much fun, not enough religion.
Pretty much.
But did they actually ban Christmas?
In some places, yeah. Like England, when Cromwell was in charge, no Christmas for a while there in the 1640s. And some of those early American settlers, Puritans too, they weren't into it either.
Wow, Christmas was illegal. Hard to imagine that.
Yeah.
Did people actually stop celebrating?
It's tough to kill a tradition that's so ingrained, you know? I mean, the big public stuff got shut down, but a lot of people just kept doing it in secret, at home, with their families.
Like a Christmas underground.
Exactly. Goes to show how much it meant to people. But obviously, the Puritans didn't win forever.
Right, Christmas came back.
Big time. By the Victorian era, 1800s, Christmas is trendy again. Part of it was nostalgia, you know, missing the simpler times. And part of it was this focus on family celebrating together.
So the Victorians brought Christmas back. But they're also the ones who gave us a bunch of the traditions we think of as, like, classic Christmas.
Totally. They shaped how we see Christmas today. Big time. All those images, the Christmas trees, the lights, carols, Santa bringing presents. A lot of that either became popular or straight up got invented in the Victorian era.
They were like the original Christmas influencers. Tell me more about how they shaped it all.
Well, Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's husband, he was a big one. He was German, and he brought over the Christmas tree tradition.
Oh, so Christmas trees weren't always a thing.
Not like that, no. But once they hit England, they BLW'd. Everyone wanted one. All decorated, candles, ornaments, gifts.
Makes sense, came from Germany, though.
Yeah.
What else did the Victorians invent?
The Christmas card. 1843, this guy, Sir Henry Cole, he's like, I want to send holiday greetings to people, but fancier than a letter. So he commissions the first Christmas card.
Wow, so that's where it started. So like the Victorian version of texting Merry Christmas. But the Victorians also gave us something else that's huge EE for Christmas.
You're thinking of Dickens, right? A Christmas Carol.
Exactly. Everyone knows Scrooge, Tiny Tim. But why was this story so important for how we see Christmas today?
Good question. So Dickens publishes this in 1843, right when that Victorian Christmas revival is happening. And it hits people hard, all levels of society.
Why?
It's about generosity, compassion, family, all those warm, fuzzy feelings. And it reminded people, hey, Christmas is about this, not just the shopping and stuff.
So Dickens basically gave us the heartwarming Christmas we love today.
Yeah, pretty much. Amazing how one story can do that. But we've been talking Europe this whole time. What about America? Was it different over there?
Good point.
Oh, American Christmas, that's a whole other story. Mix of European stuff, immigrant traditions, and how American culture was changing. It evolved as America did.
A Christmas melting pot. So what were some of those American twists?
Well, one of the biggest is how Santa changed. Remember a lot that St. Nick, Santa Claus stuff from Europe?
Uh-huh.
In America, it all gets mashed up and we get the American Santa Claus.
Right, the one we all picture today. But it wasn't just his story, was it? His whole look changed, too.
Totally. Early American Santas, they look all sorts of ways. But then, the 1930s, Coca-Cola comes along.
Yeah.
And their ads, they basically invented the Santa we know now. That jolly guy, red suit, white beard, the whole deal.
So we can thank Coca-Cola for Santa's fashion sense. But America's a big place. Did different regions have their own Christmas things going on?
Oh, absolutely. Like down in the Southwest, you got Mexican, Spanish influence, luminarias, those paper lanterns, lighting everything up.
I've seen those.
New Orleans, they do bonfires on the Mississippi on Christmas Eve. French, Cajun roots there.
So many different flavors of Christmas. But as we get into the 20th century, things get even bigger, right?
Yeah.
More commercialized.
20th century, Christmas becomes a shopping bonanza. Mass production, advertising, it's all about buying stuff.
Yeah.
Gift giving was always part of it,
Yeah.
but it goes to a whole other level.
So that spirit of generosity, it's kind of twisted up with consumerism, huh?
Yeah, it's a tricky balance. And a lot of people, they start to worry, like, is the real meaning of Christmas getting lost in all the buying frenzy?
Makes sense. We still feel that today, right? Wanting to be with loved ones, but all that pressure to spend makes you wonder, How can you have Christmas without going overboard?
That's the question, isn't it? And a lot of folks are trying to figure that out. Some people are like, forget the stuff, let's do experiences, concert tickets, trips, things like that.
Right, memories over stuff.
Others are going homemade, making gifts, decorations, putting their own spin on things.
With back to basics Christmas?
Yeah, focusing on the connections, the thoughtfulness, not just the things. And there's also the whole environmental side of it now, you know? People are more aware of that.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's real trees over plastic ones, reusable wrapping paper, trying to make less trash.
So it's Christmas that's good for the planet and good for the soul, huh? But it's important to remember, too, Christmas isn't all happy for everyone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For some people, it's a tough time.
Yeah.
If they're grieving or lonely or just can't afford all this stuff, Christmas can be a rough reminder of what they're missing.
It's true. And it's important to remember that. Be sensitive to it. Offer support to those who need it.
Because the real Christmas spirit is about empathy, kindness.
Exactly.
And that goes beyond just your family and friends. It's about everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Welcome back, listener.
Yeah.
So we've gone through this whole Christmas history thing, you know, from way back with the solstice all the way to Santa's World Tour and Christmas going global. It's been wild.
Yeah, it really has.
From pagan stuff to Puritans trying to shut it down, Victorian Christmas trees to, well, everything getting so commercial. It's amazing how Christmas changes with the times.
Absolutely. And what's interesting to me is that back and forth between the religious side and the, I don't know, the fun side.
Yeah. The sacred and the secular.
Right.
It's always been both.
Totally. From the very beginning, it's mixed up. For people who are religious, it's about Jesus' birth, prayer, all that.
Yeah.
But even for folks who celebrate it more secularly, I guess, there's still this feeling like something bigger's going on.
That's like Christmas taps into something we all need, you know? Hope, connection, especially when it's so dark outside.
For sure.
But we've also seen how Christmas is always changing.
Yeah.
What are some ways people are kind of like rethinking Christmas today?
Well, one big thing is this idea of being more mindful about it, more sustainable, you know? People are like, wait, all this buying stuff, is that what it's really about?
Makes sense.
So they're looking for ways to celebrate that fit their values.
Like what?
Lots of things. Some people are giving experiences instead of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Concert tickets, trips, classes, stuff you do, not just things you own. Others are all about homemade stuff, you know? Gifts they make themselves, decorations, more personal.
It's like getting back to the heart of Christmas, right?
Yeah.
It's not about the stuff. It's about the thought.
Exactly. And there's this environmental side now, too.
Yeah.
Real trees instead of plastic ones, reusable wrapping paper. Just trying to be less wasteful.
So Christmas, that's good for the planet, Andy. Good for you, basically.
Pretty much. But it's also important to remember, right? Christmas isn't all happy times for everyone.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Some folks, it's hard if they're grieving or lonely or if money's tight. Christmas can be really tough. It reminds them of what they don't have.
Yeah, you got to remember that.
Be sensitive to it. Be there for people who are struggling.
Because the real Christmas spirit, if you ask me, it's about empathy.
Yeah.
It's about kindness.
Yeah.
And that goes way beyond just your own little circle. It's about everyone.
Couldn't agree more.
So listener, as we wrap up this deep dive into Christmas, think about what this holiday means to you. How do you connect with all this history, all these traditions? And how will you celebrate going forward? What parts will you carry with you?
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of Christmas, everyone.